in Kobe's career, but he had the chance for the lead. Yes!
It's pretty clear that I won't be able to help the team unless I get this fixed right now.
Jeremy Lin out for the next 6 weeks. Game Time's got the story. His Knicks hosted the Cavs, who were without Kyrie Irving. See if New York capitalized. The sizzling Spurs went for 7 straight. Find out if the Pacers could halt those plans. Playoff contenders did battle in Philly. Highlights from Hawks Sixers. Plus, Jazz Clippers, Grizzlies Bucks, and much more. It's all coming up next on Game Time. Hello again, basketball fans, and welcome to Game Time, presented by Hyundai. Rick Kamla with Rex Chep and Ron Thompson here on Final Four weekend. We'll have Final Four highlights coming up for you later on in this program. Yes, NCAA highlights on NBA TV, but we've got 8 games to cover in the association, starting with a Saturday matinee at Staples between the Lakers and Hornets. And here's Kobe Bryant with the Lakers' oldest fan, 105-year-old Aileen Wynn, who asked Kobe to play better before the game.
How can you resist that?
That's beautiful. Aileen, you live 105 more. Pau Gasol, 21 and 11 in the game. Jarrett Jack driving, floating, missing. And then it's Kobe taking the outlet pass and feeding Ramon Sessions. He had 10 and 10.
Breath of fresh air for the Lakers. Gotta love that guy.
Welcome to Kobe Bryant's nightmare.
Oh, he looked 105 through the first 3 quarters.
It was a lot of clang from Kobe Bryant, and Ron, mostly from the outside.
It was. You know, he didn't get any layups, didn't get anything going towards the basket, but I was most impressed with, even though he missed a lot of shots, he stayed focused.
Kobe was scoreless at halftime on 0 of 7 from the field. That is Jason Smith. He had 17 and 10, second double-double of the year. Hornets down 6. Ramon Sessions to Steve Blake. He had 3 threes.
Steady Steve Blake. You know what you're going to get from him every single night.
He put the Lakers up 11, and then back comes Marco Bellinelli, fading and hitting. Hornets down 4 at halftime. Kobe's nightmare continues. Missing the 3. Jarrett Jack up ahead to Al-Farouq Aminu. He slams it down. He had 10 points. And the Hornets take the lead. Back comes Pau Gasol, Ron.
Pau Gasol, good evening for him. You know, strong double-double on the inside with him tonight. He and Bynum led the attack on the inside for the Lakers.
Pau put the Lakers up by 1. He shot 8 of 14 from the floor. Jarrett Jack shot this one from New Orleans, and it's good. He had 18 points, 10 assists. Hornets within 1. And Rex, the nightmare continues in the 3rd.
Kobe he can't find the rhythm. And right now you would hope that Kobe try to get to the basket a little bit, but he just can't seem to get to the bucket and get free throws. So he's just struggling. Looks like he's shooting a football right now.
Kobe 0 for 15 through 3 quarters. No points. And here we go. At the 7:30 mark of the 4th, Kobe Bryant finally hits a field goal, trimming the Hornets' lead to 8. Andrew Bynum's going to dunk right here, and moments later, the Lakers are down 2 with under 30 seconds to go, paging Kobe.
The Lakers blow an assignment that badly. I mean, Vasquez was all by himself.
Kobe now isolated on Jarrett Jack for the lead. Yes!
Yeah, you made it.
Trevor Ariza won a ring with Kobe a couple of years ago. He knew that baby was going in. And then Jarrett Jack, with a chance to give the Hornets a lead, misses a point-blank layup. Barnes foul, makes both free throws. Lakers by 3. Rex setting this up.
Busted play right here. You know this is not what Monty Williams had in mind. Pau Gasol's length busted the whole play up.
Jason Smith denied at the buzzer. Kobe and the Lakers win 88-85. Kobe has just 11 points on 3 of 21, but LAL moves to 32 and 20 overall. They're 21 and 5 at home, 2-0 against New Orleans this year, winning by a total of 9 points in those games. New Orleans drops to 13 and 39, but they hang with the Lakers despite DNPs from Eric Gordon, Chris Kaman, Trevor Ariza, and Carl Landry. Are you kidding me? Here's Kobe with Lindsey Rhodes.
This is a night unlike many that you have had.
It was awful. It was awful. Now, I couldn't throw the ball in the ocean if I was sitting on a boat. And, but, you know, at the same time, you know, I felt like I was due for one. And the crowd had my back, so I finally knocked one down.
How did it feel to knock down that 3?
It felt great. It felt great. You know, what's funny is that when it left my hand, it didn't really feel good. You know, the other ones felt good, so I knew it was going to go in.
What is your approach on a night like this? I'd imagine part of you wants to change it up and part of you wants to just keep going until something clicks.
Well, you just try to stay in the moment and just try to take good shots. I mean, the shots that I was taking were good shots, very makeable shots that just weren't going in. And, I just had to stay with it and just stay poised and remain calm and, try to knock one down.
I got to ask, because you've been playing a lot of minutes, the shooting problems have anything to do with fatigue?
Maybe a little bit, but I have great teammates who will work through it. And, the key is defensively. I felt like even though I didn't shoot the ball particularly well, I did a great job defensively, got after the guys, and that's what we have to hang our hats on. This is a great example of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be wondering, was the 3 for 21 that Kobe endured on Saturday the worst shooting performance of his career? It, in fact, was not. Back on March 18th, 1998, Kobe went 1 of 10 against the Suns. That was the worst. And by the way, this is with a minimum of 10 shot attempts. Then in 2004 against Memphis, he went 2 of 16. Saturday against New Orleans, 3 of 21. And you know what? 2 of his worst shooting games ever have come this year. He was 3 of 20 against Utah back on March 18th. Let's talk fatigue here, guys. Kobe Bryant is third in the NBA this year in minutes played per game. And it was a good question by Lindsey Rhodes and a very honest answer by Kobe Bryant. Ron, did you expect Kobe to answer it that way? Typically, guys say, nah, I'm fine.
Right. No, I was surprised that he actually said it could be fatigue. But when you look at Kobe and how he plays with the Lakers, he has to work so hard every single night to generate points. He has to work so hard for them to win. There's not a night where he can just sit back and have those guys get them through a game. And that's why I think you see the fatigue. A night like tonight when you play the New Orleans Hornets, they should be able to get through this game with Kobe not having to hit the winning shot or not having to press so hard. So with the compressed season, with Kobe playing at the pace and the tempo that he plays at, I thought it was a very honest answer.
And you take a look at Kobe quarter by quarter, Sunday against the Hornets, 0 for 5 in the first, 0 for 2 in the second, 0 for 8 in the third. All 11 of his points in the fourth quarter on 3 of 6, and the 0 of 15 start to the game was the most consecutive misses he's had in a game in his 16-plus year career. Absolutely amazing. And after the game, the LA media positively grilled head coach Mike Brown. And let's hear this sound right now. And by the way, keep this in mind as we take you to this sound. This was Mike Brown off a win.
Disgrace.
In whose eyes? My eyes? No.
Well, I'm asking you. That's,
no.
I'm asking about your eyes, not anybody else's eyes.
No.
So you don't think it's a disgrace?
No, I don't think it's a disgrace. They're an NBA team. And
close. By all teams in the league, it's a stretch.
I believe they're an NBA team, and so if they're an NBA team, stuff like this, a score like this can happen. And, shoot, sometimes we can get beat. It doesn't matter who your opponent is. Hopefully you can play the right way. Obviously you want to get a win, but if you don't get a win, hopefully you can figure out whether it's a close game or not a close game. You can figure out down the stretch how to execute on both ends of the floor so you can come out with a victory.
So Rex, front office experience for you with 3 different teams. As a former exec in the NBA, mm-hmm. if you're in that position with the Lakers, are you mad at Mike Brown? Are you mad at the Lakers? Or are you like, we got to win, I'm cool?
No, I think that's a writer with a story that's already been written during the game. He's trying to fit that answer, whatever Mike's answer is, into his column. I don't like the question. Mike answered it with as much class as he could have. Answered a question with class. It was a classless question.
Yep, totally agree. I mean, that was coming off a win, and then after he responded to the question, the reporter followed up. You mean you're not disgraced by that? That's just ridiculous.
Just digging, right?
That's the hardest thing people don't realize for a coach to do is to go into a press conference right after a game, after a win or a loss, because your emotions haven't had time to come down from the game, and then to go and get grilled by people that truly don't know much about the sport itself that asks those kinds of questions is a very, very difficult thing to do. And as you said, that's off a win.
Yeah.
They just won a game against another professional ball club.
Well said by both you guys. A couple of tidbits on Kobe here. The last time Kobe was scoreless through 3 quarters in a game that he played 20-plus minutes, all the way back to 1998. That according to Lakers PR on Twitter. And by the way, the Lakers are 3-0 this year when Kobe scores less than 15 points. That is the ironic stat of the day. And now we show you some key games upcoming for the LA Lakers. They've got the Thunder on April 22nd, and I guess round 2 of the Derek Fisher Bowl, if you will. They've got the defending champs on April 15th. They've got the Clippers coming up on Wednesday. Those teams battling for first place in the Pacific. And the Los Angeles Lakers, 5 games behind the San Antonio Spurs coming into Saturday's work, but they still have 3 matchups with the San Antonio Spurs, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that the Lakers could get to 2.
No question about it. They need to play a little better. They've got to figure out a way to take advantage of Pau Gasol and Bynum. And Kobe, you hope, if you're a Lakers guy, that Kobe can get back on track.
And the other side to that, when you look at those teams that they have coming up next, you can either go into the playoffs feeling really good or go into the playoffs not feeling good about yourself. You've got OKC, you've got Dallas, you've got San Antonio 2 or 3 more times after that. So their schedule coming up is a bear. They're going to have to, some kind of way, find a way to generate some kind of support system, some kind of points from their bench, because every single night, that starting 5 is not going to be able to carry the Lakers into the playoffs. And the Lakers right now have the worst bench production in the NBA.
Kobe's bad game amid the Laker win was just part of a big news Saturday in the NBA. Huge news out of New York involving Jeremy Lin. He's got a torn meniscus. We've got details coming up, and the Knicks got on with life after Lin against the Cavs. We've got those highlights next.
Yeah, it's disappointing for me. It's hard to watch the games, and I think I want to be out there, obviously more than anything right now to help the team. But hopefully it's a 6-week rehab process, but I tend to heal fast. So hopefully I can come back as soon as possible and still contribute this season, hopefully. I mean, if this was done very early in the year, obviously that would, I don't know where my career would be. I would be definitely without a job and probably fighting for a summer league spot. But having said that, this happening now hurts just as much because all the players, we really put our heart and soul into the team and into the season, and to not be there at the end when it really matters the most is hard.
Lin's sanity was one of the top stories of the 2011-12 NBA season. And guys, unfortunately, sounds like it's going to have a bad ending. I mean, when you do the math, we got about 3 weeks to go in the regular. He's expected to miss 6 weeks here recovering from the torn meniscus that will require surgery. So 3 weeks plus 2 maybe for a first-round playoff series. I mean, the Knicks would have to win a playoff series, get to the second round for him to even have a chance to come back this year. Jeremy, we are feeling for you. Just a terrible break for the young guy.
Yeah, I hate it. The guy has put it all on the line for the Knicks this year. He's come out, really turned the basketball world on its ear. And what really gets me is that here's a guy who was going from no playing time to tons of playing time. You wonder about how much the overwork, overuse of his wheels really took effect and caused this injury. But also, he doesn't want to go down. He's not a guy who's guaranteed next year. He played in pain and with this injury for quite a while before deciding, hey, I better shut this thing down.
Let's take a look at the human element that you have to take a look at. Here's a guy that wasn't in the league, wasn't playing much, gets a break, gets an opportunity to play, blows it out of the water, does an excellent job, solidifies himself as a player in this league, as a major player in this league, then all of a sudden he's hurt. Not under contract, doesn't know for concretely what's in store for next year. We're assuming that the Knicks are going to re-sign him. But then now, do they sign him as a backup? Do they sign him as a frontline guy? All those decisions now have to be made. And he just gave hope, I think, to a lot of guys that are in the D-League, that are overseas, that are going back and forth, trying to make this league, to say, you know what, I'm thinking about giving it up, but let me stick it out just a little bit longer. Jeremy got it done. Maybe I'll get my break shortly.
And Rex, I want to tap into your front office expertise and follow on what Ron was saying there. Jeremy Lin clearly established himself as an NBA player. But did he, with this run, establish himself as an NBA starting point guard?
Well, I think that's a little premature. I think he did for Mike D'Antoni and Mike's system. Maybe we look around, see where Mike lands next year. But in New York, I think the jury is still out. He's definitely an NBA player. We've seen that. But is he a starter? I think that's a little early to tell.
And you know what? The news came down about Jeremy Lin at about 6 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, roughly an hour and a half before the Knicks tipped off against the Cleveland Cavaliers, a game you saw right here on NBA TV. Jeremy Lin, 14.6 points, 6.1 assists, 1.6 steals. On the bench watching Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks go to work. The Mellow Man nearly 30 points per game into 3 games coming into Saturday. And here is Carmelo finishing off the feed from Barron.
When you take a look at it, Carmelo's a guy that can just score the ball effortlessly, any kind of way the ball needs to be scored.
He had 19 in the game. That one looked fairly effortless.
Absolutely. He's just a bully. He's a bull down there in the china shop and gets wherever he wants to go.
Antoine Jamison shot 5 of 15, but Alonzo G says, that's cool. I got the rebound. I'm going to lay it up and in. Cavs within 5 without Kyrie Irving. The impressive rookie missed this game with a sprained right shoulder, suffered Friday night. Here's Baron Davis to Tyson Chandler.
And we saw a lot of that with Linsanity, a lot of high pick and rolls, throwing it up near the basket.
14 and 12 for TC. New York by 5. Then it's Amon Shumpert for 3.
Touching it up. The shooters get the roll.
10 points, 5 steals for Shumpert. Speaking of 5 steals, that's the exact same number that man had. J.R. Smith, 5 steals, 20 points in the game.
I just love what he brings to this ball club. Another athletic, strong, big wing that you have.
Knicks up 76-68. We continue on with fourth quarter highlights. The Cavs would not go quietly into the night. Antoine Jamison drains the J. He had a team-high 13. Cavs within 6, but too much D by the Knicks.
J.R. Smith in the open court. There's not many guys more electrifying than he is.
12 of his game-high 20 in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks prevail 91-75. Nice moment there at the end between Mike Woodson and Byron Scott. Speaking of Woody, the Knicks are 9-2 under his leadership. They moved to 27-26 on the year, and the Knicks are 7-0 at home under Woodson. The Knicks 18-1 when holding their opponents under 90 points. They held the Cavaliers to 75. That tied a season low for Cleveland. They've lost 7 in a row, and the Cavaliers are 1-4 without Kyrie Irving this season. The Mellow Man shot 7 of 14 for his 19, and here were his thoughts after the game on the Knicks moving on without Jeremy Lin.
It's tough. I really didn't know until today. I knew he was, obviously he didn't play a couple games before, but for him to be out 6 weeks and have to get the surgery, obviously it was more severe than any of us knew. But, that's most important. We want him to take care of that. And, this basketball stuff comes second when you're dealing with something like that. We got to keep coming together as a team, get healthy. That's the most important thing. Take it one day at a time and, just go from there. We got a big game and, coming up against Indiana. We got a big week ahead of us. And we just want to take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and just go from there.
Ron, would you be wearing that stocking?
I mean, I need something to cover this dome. I don't know if I would pick that.
Rudy Gay and the Grizzlies at Brandon Jennings and the Bucks, and the Grizzlies turn it over. It's Brandon Jennings with a miraculous hoop. Rex, are you kidding me?
New York playgrounds. The guy's unbelievable in the open floor. One of the best in the biz.
By the way, that was an and one. He made the free throw, tying the game at 43, but Ron, he's not done. Here he goes again.
There he goes again. Up, up, up. But look, he decided to trade the 2 for 3 the old-fashioned way. That was all the plan. He designed that. He knew that was going to happen.
24 in the game for Jennings. We go to the third. Rudy Gay floating it home. Memphis within 4. Rudy Gay had another big game, 17 and 10 for him. And then it's O.J. Mayo beating the buzzer at the end of the third quarter.
Love O.J. Mayo. He's doing it every night right now.
Memphis took a 7-point lead to the fourth quarter. Then it's Rudy Gay pulling up.
Sweet Rudy. He makes it look so easy.
So does O.J. Mayo. For 3, he had a season-high 24, and Memphis wins 99-95. Memphis gets 13 and 15 from Marc Gasol, and they win this game in Milwaukee without their starting point guard, Mike Conley. Missed this game with an ankle injury. The Grizzlies move 6 games over 500. The Bucks, this is a bad loss for them in terms of the standings, which we'll show you in a moment. They dropped to 24 and 28, despite getting 20 each from Ilyasova and Gooden. Ilyasova went off for 20 and 16. Monte Ellis, 2 of 12, just 8 points. Third time this year he's been below 10 points in a basketball game. Eastern Conference standings look like this. you've got Philly. First of all, let's focus on that. Philly, with their win over the Hawks, moves within a half game of the Boston Celtics for first place in the Atlantic. Then look at New York and Milwaukee. They came into Saturday separated by 1.5 games. Now the Knicks have a 2.5 game cushion over the Milwaukee Bucks in the race for 8 in the Eastern Conference. So Rex and Ron, without Amari Stoudemire out with the bulging disc and without Jeremy Lin, can the Knicks hang on and maintain that 8th spot?
Well, I think they can. I think one of the main reasons is, yes, they've gone 7-0 here under Mike Woodson at home, but the Milwaukee Bucks, as we've talked about for the last few days, defensively, they have a lot of catching up to do to understand Scott Skiles and his philosophy with Monte Ellis and that new backcourt. And right now, tonight, as you saw with the Grizz, they got lit up.
And you take a look at it, New York, they're still right there. You still have Chandler, you still have Melo, you still have Shumpert and J.R. Smith. You still have enough pieces, an awful lot of talent that's still there. Now you couple that with the fact that they're defending and doing a much better job on that end of the court. If they can hold on defensively, use their defense to propel them through some of these wins, and Chandler not getting foul trouble because you don't have Amari back there with you to help out, they can hold on and solidify that last spot.
So, Ron, talk to me about that new backcourt for the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah. Brandon Jennings continuing to do his thing on a relatively consistent basis. Monte Ellis, not so much. He had the one explosive game, the 30-plus game a few nights ago, but it's largely been a lot of 13, 14, 5 of 15. It hasn't really been working out so far. Can it?
I think it can, but it's got to take time. You have two guards that are accustomed to having the ball. Monte Ellis is not a guy that spent a lot of time in Golden State coming off screens. He can do that, but he wants the ball in his hands. Brandon Jennings wants and needs the ball in his hands. These are offensive guys. It's going to take time for them to learn when and how to play off of each other. The unfortunate thing is Milwaukee just doesn't have that time or the practice time to try to work out some of those kinks.
How do you see it?
Agree completely. I couldn't agree more. Monte is a guy who needs the ball, needs to create. So is Brandon. And there's one ball out there. You're glad that you're getting production from Ilyasova, but these guards have to figure out how to play together.
Yeah, I mean, Ilyasova and Gooden were awesome on Saturday night, but it did not result in a victory for the Bucks. When we come back, we're going to go to San Antonio and check in on the Spurs. They will be looking for their 7th straight victory against the Indiana Pacers. Manu Ginobili fading and hitting, but did the Spurs win? We'll tell you next. And we got to tell you what's coming up Sunday on NBA TV. I mean, we had a triple header on Saturday, and we're giving the folks at home a double header on Sunday, starting with the Denver Nuggets and the Orlando Magic. We come up at 5:30 with that. Then it's followed by the Timberwolves and the Trailblazers from the Rose Garden in Portland. Nuggets, Magic, Wolves, Blazers, all coming your way Sunday on NBA TV. Pacers and Spurs from old San Antonio, all-star Tony Parker going against his former teammate, George Hill. We start the highlights with DeJuan Blair elbowed in the nose, I should say, by Roy Hibbert, inadvertently, but it still hurts.
Oh, I guess so.
You see DeJuan Blair.
Doesn't look good.
Getting his nose worked on by the Spurs trainer. Spurs pouring it on in the second. Granger misses the 3. Manu Ginobili to Tim Duncan. They've done that once or twice before.
Maybe a little travel, but great pass.
And then it's Tony Parker scooping and scoring. He had 18 points, 5 assists, Spurs by 13. Jump ball between Granger and Duncan. Duncan tips it back, but Paul George says, thank you for the assist.
He's a budding star in this league.
Paul George had 18, but the Pacers trailed by 13. Manu Ginobili had the same line as Parker in the points and assists with 18 and 5. Spurs by 11. Granger trying to keep the Pacers in this thing. The 3 plus the foul. He made the free throw. It's a 4-point play. Pacers down 9.
Danny Granger does it every night. Inside, outside, versatile player.
Hey, Ron, the big fundamental had 23 and 11.
Playing at the right time when they need him.
And the Spurs win it wire to wire over the Pacers, 112-103. The Spurs have won 7 in a row, y'all. They're 36 and 14 overall, 21 and 4 at the AT&T Center. The Pacers have lost 9 straight to the San Antonio Spurs. Granger and George lead the Pacers with 18 in defeat. Jazz, Clippers from Staples, 3rd and final regular season meeting between these teams. Blake Griffin had a big game, and Chris Paul for 3. Clippers up by 10. And then, Ron, it's Blake Griffin to Nick Young for 3.
Good job right there. He penetrated, drew the defense, threw it back out. They're going to need someone now that Mr. Big Shot is out to step up.
Chris Paul to DeAndre Jordan. You like that, Rex?
Oh, you know what's coming if DeAndre Jordan is in the play. Goodness gracious.
I mean, he had to go back behind his body and get that. That was beautiful. Clippers led by 12 at halftime. Al Jefferson had 26 points on 13 of 22, brought the Jazz back within 4. He's been rolling. And then right here, an injury for Chris Paul.
Oh, you don't like to see this.
Hurt his elbow. You see Devin Harris coming up from behind.
With that funny bone. Whole arm goes dead.
Chris Paul would leave the game and go to the locker room, but come back. That's great news for the Los Angeles Clippers. That's not. Watching him go to the locker room. But we'll show you in a minute. He came back out, and it's Randy Foye lobbing to Blake Griffin.
Ooh-wee. How many times have we seen that one? It just looks like a replay every night.
24, 8, and 6 for BG. And Ron, Chris Paul's back in the game.
Oh, he is. But they held down the fort while he was out. They have so much depth in this backcourt. Oh, my goodness. That's what makes that young man so special.
Oh, come on. Not even fair.
You don't even work on that. You don't drill that. That's something that just happens.
And he's smiling because the Clippers got the victory. And that might be on Smitty's top 5 plays below the rim when we get Smitty back from Final Four coverage. Hey, Chris Paul went for 26 and 6, but no steals, snapping his steal streak at 55 games. But that's just a stat. What really matters, 105-96. The Clippers beat the Jazz. The Clippers are now 31-21. They've won 5 straight overall. That's their longest winning streak since November of 2006. The Clippers have reeled off 7 straight at home. They win the regular season series with Utah 2-1. The Jazz have lost 3 in a row. And let's check in right now. Blake Griffin with Kiki Vandeweghe.
Chris Paul goes out in the middle of the third quarter, hurts his elbow. You score 8 quick points. Did you feel like you needed to take over at that point?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he's our go-to guy. The ball's in his hands a lot, and with him off the floor, there's more to do. So, we all had to step up, and everybody did a great job.
5 in a row here at home. Great home stand. It seemed like the play got way more physical on the defensive end.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job, especially in parts of the first half and parts of the second half. We were up, we were playing physical, we were on rotations, and that's what allowed us to get out to a big early lead.
How do you continue this play? You got 2 tough games coming up, Dallas and then the Lakers.
Really just keep the same mindset. When we go on the road, obviously it's a different atmosphere, but as long as we come out and we're fundamentally sound on defense and we get out and run and hit our easy shots, you can't ask for more than that.
Western Conference standings through Saturday's work. San Antonio now just 2.5 games behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. Check out the Lakers and Clippers, separated by 1 game in the race to win the Pacific Division. And as far as the Utah Jazz, they're now 27-26 and now 1.5 games behind both the Houston Rockets and the Denver Nuggets. Those 3 teams came into Friday in a 3-way tie. So Utah's lost a couple. Now they're below the line. And we assess what's going on in the West right now. I want to start by talking about the Pacific Division, the battle for Los Angeles specifically. Lakers and Clippers separated by a game. Kobe's been, in a little bit of a funk with the shot lately. The Clippers are surging back up. Who wins that division?
Right now, you'd have to say the Clips. The Clips, they're getting in rhythm. They have everybody healthy, and the Lakers are kind of searching for that identity. Ever since 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Lakers are struggling a little bit. They're trying to find out who they are.
I totally agree with Rex. I have to go to the Clippers also. I think the Clippers have more depth. I think if they can stay healthy, especially at that point guard position, they can't afford for Chris Paul to go down. When he got injured that last game, there was a collective sigh, I'm sure, because they know they're trying to make this push right now.
And for the San Antonio Spurs, they're trying to make a push and make this real interesting with OKC, and Tim Duncan is rolling. We told you about the 23-11 on Saturday night. Look at his last 10. I mean, wow. First of all, the Spurs are 9-1 over these 10 games, but Tim Duncan is like 57 years old, and he's going 18-11 over his last 10. So it raises the question, and Ron, I'll start with you. Can San Antonio catch OKC?
Oh, no, there's no question they can. And I think Pop does a great job at pacing his guys. Now all of a sudden Tim Duncan, he's pulling the leash off. He's telling him to go full throttle. Now it's time to pick it up. Tim Duncan is a guy that he paced perfectly because he knew that Pop knew that when he told him to take time off, he wouldn't just totally tank it. He stayed in shape, stayed ready. Now they're unleashing they're unleashing Manu as well. So they definitely have enough pieces.
No question about it. The rest of the league is hearing, look out below from atop the standings from the San Antonio Spurs.
I mean, last year they won the West and got beat in the first round by the 8-seeded Memphis Grizzlies. San Antonio creeping up towards number 1 again. Might be a different story for them in the playoffs this year. You're going to have to stay tuned and find out. We go to the East when we come back. Elton Brand and the 76ers hosted the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday night. This one went down to the wire. We'll tell you who won when we return on Game Time, presented by Hyundai. Tuesday night is Fan Night presented by Sprint, and this Tuesday we've got the 76ers in Miami battling the Heat. That's the game you voted for on NBA.com, and thus we show it to you. Our coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and then because we're so generous here at NBA TV, we're going to go ahead and give you the Nets and the Lakers from Staples at 10:30. It's a doubleheader coming your way on Fan Night presented by Sprint. And speaking of the 76ers, they hosted Josh Smith and the Hawks on Saturday night. Jay Smoove, 25-11 in his previous 7 games. And he had another big one against the Sixers. That jumper tied the game at 13. And, Ron, this was a duel between Josh and Elton Brand.
Elton Brand's turning back the clocks of time, 25-10 tonight. He's looking spry.
Marvin Williams with the steal to Josh, back to Marvin.
Great open-the-court play. Josh Smith making all the plays for the Hawks right now.
How about Andre Iguodala with the scooping finger roll?
Letting you know he's still got it.
And then it's Josh Smith hooking it home from distance.
Josh Smith, as long as he does that work in the paint, I know Atlanta Hawks fans will be very, very happy.
Smith had 13 points at halftime. Andre Iguodala had 12 points at halftime. Philly led on that, Jay, by 2. We go to the third, and it's Jeff Teague to Josh Smith.
Josh Smith is just showing right now that he is unguardable.
Hawks up by 2, more Josh Smith. That long, Jay, put the Hawks up 54-49. Back comes Lou Williams with the and one.
Tweet, love Lou Williams' game. Guy does it each and every night from the 1 or the 2 spot.
Joe Johnson fading on Evan Turner. Good defense, but that's right in his face, Ron.
No question. Good defense, but even better,
Atlanta up 4 on that, Jay, by Joe Cool. He had 15 in the game. Elton Brand, and 1.
Oh, bully ball. Bully ball. Give me one. Let me go to the line.
He made the free throw, put Philly up 73-72. Now it's Elton Brand to Andre Iguodala for 3. He had 18 points, 8 rebounds. 76ers up 83-77. Back come the Hawks with Josh Smith.
Love it. Nice jump shot, pull up at the elbow. He could have settled for the 3, took the extra dribble, got a little closer.
Josh had 34 and 9. Marvin Williams had 6, but that 3 brought the Hawks within 2, under 2 minutes to go. But down the stretch, too much. Elton Brand, the baseline, Jay goes. Season high 25 points, had 10 boards, 5 assists, and 3 blocks. And then it's Evan Turner with the dagger.
Oh, that's just a great move. Man's move right there.
And the 76ers beat the Hawks again. This time, 95-90. Philly moves to 29-23. They sweep the regular season series with the Hawks 3-0, and they do so for the first time since 2000-2001. Atlanta drops to 31-23 with the L. Speaking of L's, they've lost 5 straight to the Philadelphia 76ers. Elton Brand went 10 of 12 from the field for his 25 points, and afterward, he talked about it with Meredith Marakovitz.
Yeah, it was huge ramifications for this game. We had to bounce back, and that's what we did tonight. We played a tough Washington team. They're a different ball club, so we had to have tonight, especially on our home court in front of our fans.
Fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter, it seemed as though you guys took it up to the next level. What was different? What were you guys doing differently during that?
We ran sets, to get guys in the positions where they could score. Our defense really stepped up. They were getting too many easy looks in the third quarter, and we shut that down.
Season high 25 for you. A lot of those coming in the fourth quarter. It almost looked like you put this team on your back and said, we're not losing this game. Was that you personally doing it, or was Coach telling you to be more aggressive?
It's a concerted effort all season long. Coaches, myself, we took it upon ourselves. They got me the ball, and we couldn't have this loss. We needed this win tonight, so I had to do it.
Philly needed the win, and they got it. And you take a look at where they are relative to the Boston Celtics in the race for first place in the Atlantic Division. Philly came into work here, 1 game behind the Celtics, and they're now a half game behind the Celtics. And by the way, for the 76ers, this was the first time since December 27th that they did not go into a game in first place in the Atlantic. By the way, Philly picked up a game on Indiana and Atlanta as well. If they're going to be in that bottom four, the 5 to 8, at least they moved up on those teams. But in terms of Philly and Boston, who do you like to win that division right now?
Well, right now I'm looking at Boston. Boston's starting to get healthy. Hopefully they'll get Ray Allen back here in the next 10 days or so and get him in rhythm headed into the playoffs. But KG's looking well. The truth, Paul Pierce is looking well. I like the Celtics.
Kind of hard to go against Celtics with KG, with Doc Rivers on the sideline. But you have to give a lot of credit to Philadelphia, bouncing back after a tough loss in Washington, knowing they had to grab this one, and they did.
Speaking of the Atlantic Division, that's where we're going to stay when we return with the New Jersey Nets in Sacramento on Saturday night taking on the Kings. Chris Humphries, the double-double man, he had another big game, but did the Nets win? We'll tell you next. Nets and Kings from Sacramento. Deron Williams had 20 dimes Friday night in a win over Golden State. DeMarcus Cousins, 5 straight double-doubles coming into Saturday, averaging 28 and 15 over that stretch. Tyreek Evans with the steal, the reverse layup. Back after missing Friday's game with back spasms, he had a team-high 23. DeMarcus Cousins, 14 points in the game, giving Sacramento a 21-14 lead. And then it's Gerald Green to Gerald Wallace. Wallace spent the first 3 years of his career in Sacramento doing it to his former team.
Gerald Wallace does it every night, brings it hard. Gotta love his effort.
He had 18 in the game. Chris Humphries had 14 and 12.
He's a double-double machine. Brings his hard hat every single night.
Deron Williams to Johan Petro. Might have gotten away with the travel.
Maybe. We'll take it, though.
Petro had 12. Yeah, the Nets will take it. They were up by 14 on that slam by Petro. Then Anthony Morrow for 3 off the dime by D. Will, who had 15 more. Gerald Green to Anthony Morrow. The 3 plus the foul. He made the free throw for the 4-point play. Ronnie had 24 points and made 6 threes.
He was on fire. Owes an awful lot of credit to that guy right there who was setting them up all night.
Deron Williams, 19 points, 15 dimes, and the Nets beat the Kings 111-99. The Nets get their 19th win of the year. They've won 3 games in a row. So D. Will, 35 dimes over the last 2 games. That's the highest 2-game total in the NBA this season. Sacramento has lost 5 of 6. They dropped to 18 and 34, and Cousins' run of 5 straight double-doubles was ceased. He had 14 and 9. Bobcats and Pistons from the Palace of Auburn Hills. No Rodney Stuckey out with a hamstring injury, so Brandon Knight's like, all right, I'm going to have to do more. No Ben Gordon, by the way, either, out with a groin injury. Late fourth quarter, 23 seconds left, Detroit down 3. Will Bynum ties it at 97.
Will the Thrill Bynum. That guy comes up big for one of the smallest guys on the court every night.
Ron, the Bobcats had a chance to snap their 6-game losing streak right here with Gerald Henderson.
Oh, they were right there, nip and tuck all night. That guy, his athleticism, great rip through and drive.
I mean, he just missed that shot.
Oh, that was right there.
It, though. It's a great, great move.
Iron unkind, baby. We go to overtime, tied at 97. Under a minute to play in OT. Tayshaun Prince, that's his spot, but he missed. Jonas Jerebko on the second tap put Detroit up by 2. Jerebko had 18 off the bench on 8 of 11 from the field. 20 seconds on the clock. Bobcats down 3. Gerald Henderson loses the ball. Will Bynum gets it, and he is fouled. Bynum splits a pair of free throws. So Bobcats down 4. And it's Reggie Williams for 3. Bang.
Unbelievable shot from deep, deep range.
So we still got a ball game. Bobcats down 1. Tayshaun Prince hit a couple of free throws, so it's a 3-point game. Byron Mullins for the tie. Almost made that. The tap out to Reggie Williams for the tie. Detroit holds on to beat Charlotte in overtime, 110-107. The Pistons go to 19 and 33 with the win. They are 3-0 against the Bobcats this year. I know you're not that surprised by that stat. But anyway, Charlotte is now 7 and 43 with the loss. They've lost 7 in a row. And get this, Corey Maggette missed the game with a strained right Achilles. The Bobcats are 1 and 20 this year without their leading scorer.
Collective sigh by Detroit, because tonight Charlotte gave them all they could handle. They knew they didn't want to come in out on the short end of the stick. They found a way to hold on.
When we come back, we've got Rex's Kentucky Wildcats in the Final Four on Saturday. Highlights coming up from New Orleans when we return on Game Time, presented by Hyundai. We're back on Game Time, presented by Hyundai. Rick Kamlow, Rex Chapman, and Ron Thompson. We're done. We've shown you all of the NBA highlights from an 8-game Saturday, but we have not shown you highlights of the Final Four. And in honor of Rex Chapman, who went to Kentucky for a couple of years, we're going to show highlights of Kentucky and Louisville. And right now, highlights of Ohio State and Kansas. 2 seeds going head-to-head. Tyshawn Taylor in Kansas against Jared Sullinger and Ohio State. And off the bat, it's Aaron Kraft to Sullinger, who had 13 and 11. Ohio State up 12-6. Time winding down in the first half. Aaron Kraft blocked by Jeff Withey. And then it's Tyshawn Taylor to Travis Relaford, who had 15. Ohio State still led, though, 34-25. Let's go to the second half. How about Thomas Robinson? 19 and 8.
Guy's a man down there. He won one of the Player of the Year awards and was in heavy consideration for all of them.
And then, Ron, it's Aaron Kraft with the steal. He goes all the way. Ohio State up 3.
They just didn't want to give in. They had the lead for majority of the game. Kansas came roaring back.
Tyshawn Taylor, 10 points, 9 assists, driving, hanging, hitting, got the roll. Kansas within 1. After Kansas took the lead on a couple of Relaford free throws, William Buford misses. Elijah Johnson blazes down the court, gets the layup. Kansas is up 3.
Huge bucket, huge bucket. How did he get that one to go in?
Johnson had 13 and 10. Deshaun Thomas with the miss. Great save right there. And then off this missed shot, it is pounded back down by William Buford to cut the lead to 1. And then after Kansas, Tyshawn Taylor makes a couple of free throws to give Kansas a 3-point lead. Tyshawn Taylor gets the steal and throws the ball out of bounds.
That's your starting point guard.
And now Ohio State's still alive. Aaron Kraft fouled, makes the first, intentionally misses the second, but called for a lane violation. How do you like that? And then 2.9 seconds left. Kansas inbounds the ball up 2. Ohio State doesn't foul. Kansas wins 64-62 and advances to the NCAA championship game on Monday night. Rex, are you surprised by this?
A little surprised. I thought Ohio State would go ahead and win this game, advancing to the championship game. They had a great year, but Kansas pulled the upset.
So now let's check in with Rex Chapman's Kentucky Wildcats, facing the 4th-seeded Louisville Cardinals. And there is AP Player of the Year Anthony Davis jamming it down.
This guy's unbelievably long and talented.
Russ Smith got the steal and the layup, and John Calipari talking to Deron Lamb saying, we got to get this going. We got to play a little bit better. And then it's Darius Miller for Kentucky, stealing and jamming. Kentucky up by 11. It's over, right, Ron? It's over, right?
I mean, you would think, but Kentucky just has so much length and athleticism. They come at you in waves.
Gorgie Jang with the putback, bringing Louisville within 6. Then Jang with the steal feeds Shane Behanan, and Wayne Blackshear gets the putback dunk, bringing Louisville within 4. And then it's Peyton Siva for 3. You got to guard him. We're tied at 49.
And Rick is feeling it. He's feeling it out there. The guy wants this game badly.
So does Michael Kidd-Gilchrist with the spin and the slam. Kentucky by 4. Darius Miller for 3, Kentucky by 7, and the Wildcats just ran away with this thing.
They did. They've got so much talent there. Terrence Jones, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist here, Anthony Davis. I mean, that's a pro front line.
And Kentucky beats Louisville 69-61. John Calipari beats Rick Pitino. Kentucky 37-2 on the season. Davis goes for 18 and 14 with 5 blocks. So it will be Kentucky against Kansas in the national title game on Monday night. Congratulations, Rex, or is it premature to issue congratulations on the win for Kentucky?
Yeah, well, I didn't do anything, but those kids are awfully special team. John Calipari's done an unbelievable job with this group of guys, getting them, I mean, it's taking 19-year-old kids straight out of high school and getting them to blend, mesh as a unit.
In a short period of time.
Very short period of time.
He's doing it with freshmen predominantly, some sophomores. He got them to the Final Four, to the championship game with a group of guys that haven't been able to spend an extended period of time together, which is very difficult. And you know what I love most? A guy like Davis, he had to show up big, and guess what? He showed up big. The knock on him when you look at trying to project him to the next level is, does he have a go-to move on the block? He showed you he had multiple go-to moves on the block tonight.
So Anthony Davis was big, kind of like the boy king from Kentucky, Rex Chapman. Check this picture out right here.
Oh.
Check out the party in the back, baby.
Rocking the mullet.
Rex Chapman, 2 years in Kentucky.
Oh, my goodness.
He went 17.6 PPG, shot 40% on threes, and he rocked the mullet. I love it, baby. Rex, that was back when you had hair, right?
Yes, yes.
Hilarious. We'll be right back with more on Game Time presented by Hyundai. According to OrlandoMagic.com, Magic head coach Stan Van Gundy accused Dallas Mavericks center Brendan Haywood of punching Dwight Howard in the lower back during Friday's game and plans to send video of the incident to the NBA office. Not necessarily this video, but Dwight did not participate in Orlando's practice on Saturday, and he was scheduled to see a back specialist. Dwight Howard has not missed a game this year, and Stan Van Gundy expects Dwight to play Sunday on NBA TV against the Denver Nuggets. But boy, the plot thickens here in the big man game between Dwight and Brendan Haywood. What do you make of this?
I don't know what to make of it. Brendan's not a I'm going to hit you kind of guy.
No,
is he,
not
right?
at all. I covered him in Washington, and I would be totally shocked if he purposely took his fist and hit Dwight Howard in the back. He's just not that kind of guy.
So we searched for the video. We could not find the specific video. So if it surfaces, we'll show it to you here on NBA TV. But before we go, a couple of retweets. The first one comes from Jeremy Lin. Jeremy, we're thinking of you. And Jeremy says, thanks for all the love. I'll return from this surgery stronger, better than before, and hopefully in time for the playoffs. Paul Pierce says, here we go, KU. UK, let's do it. Jayhawk Nation, bring them on. And Patrick Patterson says, proud of them boys in blue tonight. One more win. And speaking of that one more win, let's get a prediction from you guys on the national title game Monday night.
The boys in Kentucky blue take the whole cake.
I'm going with Kentucky also.
Wow,
John
unanimous.
Calipari, Kentucky.
I understand.
It's a wrap.
It is a wrap for us. For Ron Thompson, Rex Chapman, and our crew, I'm Rick Kamla. Thanking you for watching Game Time presented by Hyundai. We'll see you soon.